Detective Aaron Cross was done. 7 years since his badge was taken. 7 years since he failed to save Maya Hernandez. Now, at 55, he was a ghost living in a one-bedroom apartment that smelled of regret and cheap whiskey. His last $200, money meant for rent, was gone, wasted on storage unit number 847, a rusted locker filled with garbage and rotting furniture. Aaron sat on the filthy concrete floor, head in his hands, ready to accept he'd hit absolute bottom. But Sniff, his retired K-9 partner, refused to give up. The German shepherd ignored Aaron's defeated whisperer to sit. Instead, Sniff moved the back wall, past the moldy boxes and broken lamps. Then he barked, not the casual bark of boredom. This was a sharp, urgent bark Aaron hadn't heard in 7 years. The bark from the day Maya disappeared. Aaron's blood went cold. Sniff, what is it? The dog clawed at the wall, teeth bared, body trembling. Aaron approached slowly, and his detective instincts, dormant for so long, suddenly roared back to life. The wall panel was loose. This wasn't trash. This was a crime scene. Welcome to Mr. Bryan's Tale, where every story takes you on an unforgettable journey. Whether it's thrilling adventures, heartwarming moments, or tales that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, this is your destination for captivating storytelling. If you love getting lost in exciting narratives and discovering new worlds with every video, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss out on the next amazing tale. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Aaron Cross stared at the eviction notice taped to his apartment door. 72 hours to vacate. 7 years since they'd stripped his badge. 7 years since Maya Hernandez vanished on his watch. And he still couldn't escape the past. Rent was $1,400. His bank account showed $347. His daughter, Sarah, hadn't returned his calls in 6 months. The bourbon bottle on his kitchen counter was nearly empty. Sniff, his retired K-9 partner, nudged Aaron's hand with his graying muzzle. The German shepherd's dark eyes held the same steady loyalty they had when they worked together. "Sorry, boy," Aaron muttered, scratching behind Sniff's ears. "Looks like we're both washed up." His phone buzzed. A spam text about a storage unit auction downtown. Abandoned lockers. $50 to start bidding. Aaron had attended these before, back when he thought he might flip junk for cash. It never worked. But desperation makes fools of rational men. 2 hours later, Aaron stood in a dim warehouse, surrounded by professional resellers. Unit number 847 was revealed. Rust-eaten lockers, water-damaged boxes, broken furniture, trash bags torn open by rats. Everyone walked away. The auctioneer looked at Aaron with pity. $50 to start. Anyone? Aaron raised his hand. 200. The auctioneer blinked. Sold. You okay, buddy? Aaron wasn't okay, but he had nothing left to lose. He paid cash, signed papers, and drove Sniff to the facility. Standing before the locker's rolling door, Aaron felt a familiar weight of failure settle over his shoulders. Let's see what rock bottom bought us, Sniff. Emotional beat. Desperation, resignation, last gamble of a broken man. The unit smelled like mildew, rust, and abandonment. Aaron pulled the overhead string, and a single bulb flickered to life, casting long shadows across the junk. Sniff trotted inside cautiously, nose working. Aaron followed, boots crunching on broken glass. Cardboard boxes collapsed under his touch, spilling yellowed magazines and moldy clothes. A broken TV. A child's bicycle with flat tires. Someone's entire forgotten life, crammed into a 10x10 metal box. Aaron kicked aside a bag of rotting linens and sighed. Of course, he'd gambled his rent money on literal garbage. He slumped onto an overturned crate, head in his hands. The eviction notice crinkled in his jacket pocket. What the hell was he doing? Sniff would end up in a shelter. Sarah would find out her father died drunk and homeless. Maya's case would stay cold forever. Sniff, come on. Let's go. But Sniff didn't move. The dog stood rigid at the back of the unit, ears pricked forward, body tense. Then he barked. Not a casual bark. A sharp, urgent, police dog bark Aaron hadn't heard in 7 years. The bark from the day Maya disappeared. Aaron's breath caught. Sniff, The German shepherd clawed at the back wall, teeth bared, a low growl rumbling in his chest. Aaron stood slowly, detective instincts snapping awake like live wires. He moved past the trash, eyes scanning. The wall panel was metal, riveted in place like all the others. But Sniff was focused on one specific section, scratching furiously. Aaron knelt, running his fingers along the seam. It was loose. His pulse quickened. He grabbed a screwdriver from a toolbox and pried at the edge. With a groan of metal, the panel swung open. Emotional beat, shock, adrenaline, hope. Something is hidden here. Aaron's flashlight beam cut through the darkness of the wall cavity. 3 items lay inside a plastic evidence bag. A burner phone, a small recorder, and a sealed envelope marked insurance. His hands trembled as he pulled the bag free. Sniff whined, pressing against Aaron's leg. The dog's behavior was unmistakable. He recognized the scent. Aaron's throat tightened. This is Maya's, isn't it? The recorder was old, scratched, battery dead. The phone was a cheap flip model, cracked screen. Aaron opened the envelope carefully. Inside, a USB drive, 3 photographs, and a handwritten note. The note read, "If you're reading this, I'm dead. Detective Cross tried to protect me, but they got to the evidence before trial. Frank Russo, Marcus Webb, Diane Chun, they're dirty. This is everything. Please finish what Aaron started." Maya Hernandez, March 14th, 2018. Aaron's vision blurred. She'd known. Maya had known she was going to die, and she tried to leave evidence behind. Someone had hidden it here, in this random storage locker, and it had sat for 7 years while he drank himself into oblivion. He looked at the photographs. Russo meeting with known drug traffickers, Webb planting evidence at a crime scene, Chin shredding documents in the evidence room. The USB drive was labeled Testimony plus Recordings. Aaron's jaw clenched. They'd set him up. His investigation had been sabotaged from the inside. Maya hadn't run away. She'd been murdered, and the 3 people who swore to protect her had covered it up. Sniff barked again, urgent. Aaron's old instincts kicked in. If someone hid this here, they might still be watching. He had to move fast. He grabbed the evidence bag, shoved it into his jacket, and pulled Sniff toward the exit. Emotional beat, horror recognition, burning resolve. This changes everything. Aaron drove to the city library, hands gripping the steering wheel too tight. He couldn't go to the police. Russo was deputy commissioner now. He was a police. Webb still worked homicide. Chun ran the evidence room. They owned the system. But Maya had a sister, Isabella Hernandez. Aaron remembered her from the original investigation. 20 years old and devastated, angry at Aaron for failing. She demanded answers he couldn't give. He'd been too broken to look her in the eye. The library's public computer confirmed what he suspected. Isabella Hernandez was now an investigative journalist for Metro Tribune, specializing in police corruption. She'd built a career on exposing the system that killed her sister. Aaron typed carefully, "Isabella, this is Aaron Cross. I know you hate me. I have evidence about Maya. We need to meet. Alone. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., Riverside Park, South Bench by the oak tree. Bring no one. They're still watching." He created a burner email account, sent the message, then deleted the browser history. Sniff lay at his feet, chin resting on Aaron's boot. The dog looked old, tired, but his eyes still held that sharp intelligence. "She's not going to believe me, boy," Aaron whispered. But he attached one of the photographs, Russo with the traffickers, to the email. No explanation, just the image. If Isabella was a journalist he believed she'd become, she'd recognize its significance. That night, Aaron didn't drink. He sat in his dark apartment, the evidence bag on his kitchen table, and cleaned his old service weapon, a Glock 22 he'd kept despite turning in his duty piece. If Russo's people came for him, he wouldn't go quietly. Sniff slept by the door, ears twitching at every sound. Both of them were on watch. Emotional beat, strategic planning, nerves, preparation, guardian mode activated. Aaron arrived at Riverside Park an hour early. March morning air was cold, mist rising off the water. He scanned for surveillance. for anyone who didn't belong. Old habits. Sniff sat beside him, alert. At 9:03 a.m., a woman approached. Isabella Hernandez was 34 now, but Aaron recognized her immediately. Maya's dark eyes, the same determined jawline. She wore a gray coat, carried messenger bag, and walked with a careful awareness of someone who'd learned not to trust easily. She stopped 10 feet away. Detective Cross. Not a detective anymore. I know. Her voice was cold, controlled. You have 60 seconds before I leave. Aaron pulled out the photograph. Isabella's expression didn't change, but he saw her hands tighten around her bag strap. Where did you get this? A storage locker, hidden in a wall. Your sister left it there. My sister is dead. I know, Aaron said quietly. And I know who killed her. Frank Russo. Marcus Webb helped cover it up. Diane Chin destroyed the evidence. It's all in here. He held up the USB drive. Isabella's composure cracked. Her eyes filled with tears she refused to let fall. You're lying. You failed her once. I know I did, but Maya didn't fail. She recorded everything. She knew they were coming for her, and she left proof. She left it for you. Aaron's voice broke. She trusted you to finish what I couldn't. Please, Isabella, let me make this right. Isabella stared at him for a long moment. Finally, she stepped closer. If this is fake, if you're messing with me, then you can destroy me yourself, Aaron said. I deserve it either way. Isabella took the USB drive. We decrypt this together, somewhere safe. Emotional beat, tension, fragile trust, shared pain, alliance forged. Isabella's apartment was a fortress. Deadbolts, security cameras, files covering every wall. Photos of Maya smiled from a memorial shelf. Aaron felt the weight of 7 years of failure crushing him. Sniff settled by the door, watching. My tech contact is coming, Isabella said, setting up her laptop. Ricky Patel. Former NSA, now private. If anyone can recover this data, he can. Ricky arrived within the hour, mid-30s, thin, nervous energy. He examined the drive with professional detachment. Old encryption. Government grade. Someone knew what they were doing. Can you break it? Aaron asked. Yes. Will take time. 6, maybe 8 hours. We don't have 8 hours, Aaron said. Russo has to know I bought that storage unit. If he's tracking property records. He won't risk moving until he's sure you found something, Isabella interrupted. He's careful. That's why he survived this long. Aaron nodded. She was right. Russo would watch, wait, confirm the threat before acting. They had a window. Ricky worked in silence, lines of code scrolling across 3 monitors. Aaron sat on Isabella's couch, Sniff's head in his lap, watching the door. Isabella made coffee none of them drank. Time crawled. At 4:47 p.m., Ricky sat back. I'm in. The drive contained 47 audio files, 23 photographs, and 16 video clips. Aaron's hands shook as they opened the first recording. Maya's voice filled the room. Young, frightened, but determined. March 10th, 2018. This is Maya Hernandez. Eyewitness Deputy Commissioner Frank Russo accept $50,000 from Javier Rios of the Los Reyes cartel in exchange for evidence destruction. I'm recording this because Detective Aaron Cross says, I need proof. If something happens to me, please find him. He's the only one I trust. Emotional beat. Tension, anticipation, breakthrough. Maya's voice returns from the grave. They listened to all 47 files. Each one was a knife to Aaron's heart. Maya described meetings she'd witnessed, payoffs she'd photographed, officers she'd seen planting drugs on innocent people. She'd been working as a cleaning contractor at a private social club, a front for cartel meetings. She'd seen everything. And when she tried to come forward, Russo had assigned Aaron to protect her while secretly planning her elimination. File 23 broke Aaron completely. Detective Cross brought me to the safe house. He's kind. He doesn't know Webb is feeding my location to Russo. I can see it in his eyes. He really thinks he's saving me. God, I wish I could warn him. But if I do, they'll know I know. I have to wait until trial. Please, Detective Cross, if you're hearing this, it wasn't your fault. You're the only good one. Aaron stood abruptly, walked to the window, fists clenched. Isabella approached cautiously. Aaron, I brought her to that safe house, he whispered. Webb told me it was secure. I walked her into a trap. You didn't know. I should have. His reflection in the glass looked haunted. I was a detective. It was my job to know. Russo is deputy commissioner. Webb was your partner. You trusted the system. Isabella's voice softened. Maya knew that. She doesn't blame you. Stop blaming yourself. Ricky interrupted. There's more. Video file dated March 14th, 2018, the night she disappeared. They watched in silence. The video showed Maya running through dark streets, phone camera shaking. Russo's voice in the background. Stop running, Maya. Make this easy. A gunshot. The camera fell. Darkness. Then Russo's face, filling the frame. Loose ends. The video ended. Isabella made a sound like a wounded animal. Aaron caught her before she collapsed. Emotional beat. Grief, rage, devastating truth, and the fuel for justice. Aaron paced Isabella's apartment while she sobbed in the bathroom. Ricky worked methodically through the remaining files. Sniff whined at the bathroom door, sensing Isabella's pain. Ricky's voice cut through the tension. Cross, you need to see this. Aaron leaned over his shoulder. File 44 was a spreadsheet, names, dates, amounts. What am I looking at? A ledger, Ricky said grimly. Every payoff Russo made or received for 8 years. He's been running protection for 3 cartels, 2 human trafficking rings, and a weapons smuggling operation. The money goes through shell companies, offshore accounts. There are at least 20 officers on this list. Aaron's blood ran cold. 20. And politicians. A city councilman. A judge. This isn't just 3 corrupt cops. It's an entire network. Ricky scrolled down. Maya wasn't their first victim. There are notes here about 6 other witnesses who disappeared or committed suicide, all investigated by Webb or processed by Chun. The bathroom door opened. Isabella emerged, eyes red but expression steel. Then we take them all down. Aaron shook his head. Isabella, this is bigger than us. If we go public without protection. I'm a journalist. I have contacts. Federal prosecutors who wanted Russo for years but lacked evidence. She grabbed her phone. We need Captain Elena Vasquez, your old mentor. She's retired but respected. If she corroborates your story. Elena won't want to believe this. Then make her believe it. Isabella's voice was iron. You said you wanted to make this right. This is how. We build an airtight case. We bring in people Russo can't touch, and we burn his entire operation to the ground. Aaron looked at Sniff, then at Maya's photograph on the shelf. The young woman who trusted him, who died believing in him. Okay, he said quietly. Let's finish this. Emotional beat. Revelation, rage, strategy. The hunt begins. Captain Elena Vasquez lived in a quiet suburb. She retired 3 years ago after 35 years on the force. Aaron hadn't spoken to her since his termination. She'd argued for him, but the decision came from above her authority. It had fractured their relationship. He knocked on her door at 7 p.m. She answered in sweatpants and a police academy t-shirt. Reading glasses perched on her nose. When she saw Aaron, her expression hardened. Cross. Captain, I need your help. I'm not your captain anymore, and you need a shower and an AA meeting. Aaron flinched but didn't retreat. I found evidence in the Maya Hernandez case. She's dead. Frank Russo killed her. Elena's expression didn't change. That's a serious accusation against a deputy commissioner. I have proof. Recordings, video, financial records. Maya documented everything before she died. And you expect me to believe you stumbled onto this evidence after 7 years? Elena crossed her arms. You've been drinking yourself to death, Aaron. Everyone knows it. I know what I look like, Aaron said quietly. I know what I've become. But this is real. Maya hid the evidence. My K-9 found it. Please, Elena, just look at what I have. If I'm wrong, if I'm delusional, then you can call Webb to come get me. But if I'm right, his voice broke. If I'm right, then we fail that girl together. Something shifted in Elena's eyes. She stepped aside. You have 10 minutes. Aaron, Isabella, and Ricky entered. They set up the laptop in Elena's living room and played File 23. Maya's recording about Webb compromising the safe house. When it ended, Elena sat very still. Her jaw was clenched, eyes wet. "That son of a bitch," she whispered. "Marcus Webb worked with me for 15 years. They used all of us," Aaron said. Elena stood. "Get your evidence organized. We're calling the FBI." Emotional beat, validation, alliance solidified, momentum building. At 11:32 p.m., Aaron's apartment door exploded inward. He'd known they were coming. Ricky had detected surveillance software on Aaron's phone 2 hours earlier. They deliberately fed false information. Evidence is at Aaron's apartment, being copied tonight. It was bait. Aaron wasn't there. He was in Isabella's car across the street with Sniff, watching through binoculars. 2 men entered, not in uniform. Russo wouldn't risk official channels. These were contractors. Aaron recognized one. Vincent Caruso, former cop turned private security, rumored to do wet work for the cartel. "They're searching," Isabella whispered beside him. Her camera was recording through the telephoto lens. Elena's voice crackled through the radio. "FBI is 20 minutes out. Do not engage." But Sniff suddenly lunged, barking furiously. Aaron turned. A third man approached from behind their vehicle. Marcus Webb, gun drawn. "Out of the car, Aaron," Webb said quietly. "Both of you." Aaron raised his hand slowly. "Marcus." "Don't. Just don't." Webb's gun hand shook. "Russo knows. He knows you have the drive. He sent me to clean this up. But I can't." His voice cracked. "I can't kill you two. I can't do it anymore." Isabella filmed everything. Webb's confession was being recorded. "Then help us," Aaron said. "It's not too late, Marcus. You can still..." Caruso emerged from the apartment building. "Webb, what the hell are you doing?" Webb turned, gun swinging toward Caruso. "It's over, Vin. FBI is coming. Russo's done." Caruso smiled coldly. "You really think?" Sniff launched himself at Caruso. 85 pounds of trained aggression. The gun fired wild. Elena's voice on the radio. "FBI is here. Stand down." Sirens filled the night. Federal vehicles surrounded the block. Caruso went for his weapon. FBI agents swarmed him. Marcus Webb dropped his gun and fell to his knees, sobbing. Emotional beat. Chaos, adrenaline, betrayal, and redemption colliding. Everything comes to a head. The FBI brought Frank Russo in for questioning at 6 a.m. Special Agent Lisa Moreno laid out the evidence. Recordings, photographs, financial records, Marcus Webb's testimony, and Diane Chen's cooperation in exchange for immunity. Russo looked older than his 58 years. Gray suit, American flag pin, the face of authority. He sat calmly, lawyer beside him. "This is harassment based on fabricated evidence from a disgraced officer." Agent Moreno smiled. "We also have Maya Hernandez's body, Frank, buried where Marcus said you put her. Ballistics match your personal weapon, the one you reported stolen in 2018. Russo's composure cracked for just a second. "You killed a 19-year-old girl to protect drug money," Moreno continued. "You destroyed evidence, bribed officials, and murdered 6 other witnesses over 8 years. Your network is done. Everyone's talking." Russo's lawyer leaned in, whispering urgently. Russo's face drained of color. Through the glass, Aaron felt nothing. No triumph. No satisfaction. Just a hollow ache of knowing Maya died alone and afraid. Isabella stood beside him, tears streaming silently down her face. "Is it enough?" she whispered. "Will he go to prison?" "Life without parole," Elena said from behind him. "Federal racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, corruption charges across 3 states. He'll die in a cell." Russo looked directly at the one-way glass, as if he could see Aaron. He mouthed 2 words. "You win." Aaron turned away. Nobody wins. Maya's still dead. But Isabella took his hand and squeezed. She's not forgotten anymore. That's what she wanted, to not be forgotten. Outside the interrogation room, reporters gathered. This was going to be the biggest corruption scandal in the city's history. Aaron had one more thing to do. Emotional beat, justice delivered, but bittersweet. Victory feels like ashes, yet closure begins. 3 months later, Aaron stood at Maya Hernandez's grave. The headstone was new, paid for by the city's settlement with the family. Fresh flowers surrounded it. Isabella came every week. Aaron knelt, Sniff sitting beside him. "I'm sorry I was late, kid," he said quietly. "But we got him. We got all of them." Russo was serving life. Webb got 20 years. Chin got probation and permanent dismissal. 16 other officers were indicted. The police commissioner resigned. Federal oversight was imposed on the entire department. And Aaron had his badge back, not just reinstated, promoted. The city created a cold case review unit specifically to investigate cases where corruption might have buried the truth. Aaron was appointed as its director. His first hire, Elena Vasquez as deputy director. His phone buzzed. Sarah, his daughter. They'd been talking weekly since the news broke. She'd watched his testimony on TV, seen him vindicated, and called him for the first time in years. "Dad, I'm proud of you." He smiled at the message, then looked at Maya's headstone. "Your sister's a hell of a journalist. By the way, her story won awards. And your testimony, what you left behind, it saved lives, Maya. Real lives. You were braver than all of us." Isabella approached from behind, carrying fresh lilies. She knelt beside Aaron, placing them gently. "I'm writing a book. About her. About what she did. I want people to know her name." "They will," Aaron promised. Isabella smiled sadly. "You know she'd forgive you, right?" "She already did. In the recording." Aaron nodded, throat tight. For the first time in 7 years, he believed it. As they walked away together, Aaron, Isabella, and Sniff, the sun broke through clouds, warming the cold cemetery. Somewhere behind them, Maya Hernandez rested in peace. Finally heard, finally remembered, finally avenged. Detective Aaron Cross spent 7 years drowning in guilt, believing he'd failed Maya Hernandez. But the truth was hidden in plain sight, buried in a forgotten storage locker, waiting for a loyal K9 who never forgot her scent. Sometimes redemption doesn't come when we expect it. Sometimes it comes when we're at our lowest, when we spend our last dollar on what looks like garbage. But as Aaron discovered, one person's trash can hold another person's justice. Maya Hernandez didn't die in vain. Her courage to document the truth, even knowing it might cost her life, brought down an empire of corruption and saved countless future victims. And the detective who blamed himself for 7 years? He became the guardian of cold cases, ensuring no victim would ever be forgotten again. K9 Sniff retired from active duty at age 9, but his final case became his greatest. One bark changed everything. Thank you for watching Mr. Bryan Tales. If this story of redemption, justice, and an unforgettable K9 partner moved you, please hit that like button. It helps us bring you more incredible stories like Aaron and Sniff's. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next mystery. We cover cold cases, unsolved disappearances, and stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Drop a comment below. Would you have spent your last $200 on that storage locker? What would you do with evidence everyone told you didn't exist? Until next time, remember, the truth is always worth fighting for, and sometimes the most loyal partner has 4 legs and never gives up on you. This is Mr. Bryan Tales, where every story matters and no voice goes unheard.